Hello, hello. Welcome to Oddball Frequency. This is Daniel, and I'm here with my co-host, Daniel. Hey, we're really excited to be on the show. We have a guest Freezepop here. Although for some reason I do not hear them anymore.
Hello?
Oh, wait, I heard that. Let me just turn up the volume. Do you hear me? I'm not holding down the talk button. Do you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you.
What? Okay, that makes life a lot easier. Sweet. Okay, let's get this started. Freezepop is an indie electro synth pop band from Brooklyn, Massachusetts, with four full-length albums, over a dozen EPs, and a fifth studio album on the way for the future. They also have been in collaborations and been featured in popular games such as Guitar Hero, Rock Band, and Amplitude. The band's current members are, here we go, Liz Enthusiasm, the other Sean T. Drinkwater, Robert John Bananas Foster, and Christmas Disco Marie Sagan. How's it going, guys?
It's going pretty alright.
Sweet. All right, let me lower your volumes a little bit. All right, Daniel, you hear them fine? All right, sweet. So the first thing I really got to ask is, how did the pseudonym names come about? Because I love them, but I'm just really curious.
Mine's real.
It's real?
Yeah.
What? That's insane. Oh
It's
my
the greatest
god.
punchline, really.
Yeah, right?
Well, not the other part, but I am Sean Drinkwater.
Sweet. What about Christmas and, bananas?
We made a list. The summer that we got the band together, we just made a huge list of fake names. We've been sort of mining it ever since. Christmas was on that list. Liz was on that list.
So just,
Bananas Foster came from a Bennigan's menu in Florida.
Orlando or something.
Yeah.
Damn. That's
I
crazy.
just want to be Bananas Foster.
It was a magical moment.
Honestly, I feel like out of all of them, the most, passable one is Liz Enthusiasm, because it's just two words, and then you get, Robert John Bananas Foster. I was doing some research on you guys, and I came across Wikipedia, and I saw the names, and I'm like, this is going to be fun. So, when and how did the bands come about? I understand that you two are some of the original members, right?
Yes. Yeah, so the Duke, who is sort of like our retired member, kind of got the idea to put the band together because he had a little box called a Yamaha QI70, which was good for making synth pop, he thought. So he was like, hey, I'm going to start a band and I want a female singer. And this is back in 1999, so we've been around for quite a long time. A mutual friend introduced us, and so he called me, but this was in the days before cell phones and stuff, so Sean picked up the phone. And they knew each other just because, the Boston scene, in terms of electronic music, at the time was just tiny. So
in the mid-'90s, we were briefly on the same wavelength.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So, yeah, they already knew each other, and...
That's pretty cool. That's funny. When I researched you guys, I didn't expect you guys to be from Boston. For some reason, I always had a New York City vibe off of you guys. But I don't know. I guess that was just me.
we sort of
We there a lot.
Yeah,
Really?
I mean, especially in the early days during the Electro Clash times and stuff, we were kind of down in New York and Brooklyn a lot. But
you guys have a decent amount of fans
we
down there?
somehow amazingly came out in Boston, even though at the time we were
Complete anomaly.
Yeah, Boston was very rock time.
And I'm sure Boston's where most of your fans are, right?
No.
No? Whoa. Where do you think?
Not at all.
We do have some fans here, but they really are kind of spread all over. And then we have weird little pockets of fans in random places.
Oh, that's cool.
No, we focused on a lot of touring in the early years, and that ended up being pretty crucial for us because we do still have good fan bases in towns across America, and getting out of Boston was a good mindset to be in too, because we weren't just limiting ourselves to only playing here. It's a good lesson for bands generally is to kind of travel and get your name spread around.
Yeah, as much as possible.
Yeah.
So I think the main question that I want to get out of the way is there any news on the fifth album?
It's really good.
It's good? I hope so.
It's really good. It's taken a little longer than we thought. We had a few disasters, but Well, it's actually 2 albums plus like a third.
Oh yeah,
album.
that's right.
So
You
it's
got
a lot.
funded
It's
for a
almost
second one. Congratulations
gonna
on that, by the way.
35 songs or something.
Yeah. And then there's the
so
vinyl
it's
pressing and
undertaking.
a music video, and you guys really broke through on Kickstarter.
Yeah, no, it was a huge surprise. Like we had all these sort of contingency plans in place for if we didn't hit the goal.
Yeah, right.
we'll lend our friends.
We don't talk about that if you don't hit the goal.
Yeah, we really didn't know, and then we hit the goal within like a day, so it was a huge surprise. Man, I'm still kind of in awe.
Yeah, and it didn't only beat it, but it like almost tripled it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, it was kind of nuts.
Yeah, when you had the backtracker thing on, it was even more. You know, it was kind of incredible. Is that the thing that's called backtracker?
Backer kit.
Backer kit, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. So, I guess hopefully
but
getting
yeah,
this in the future.
the albums are coming along.
That's cool.
Like,
So
we have some momentum, and it's it's still going to take a little while longer, but.
do you think you're going to record and make both albums at once, or release one at a time, or both at the same time?
No, we're kind of working on everything at once, but we're gonna in the next few weeks we're gonna decide on what the core group of songs is.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's cool.
we can finish doing final vocals on 10 or 12 songs that will be on the final album, and that will actually come out first, at least digitally for the Kickstarter fans. I think that's kind of how we're thinking about it at the moment. Subject to change, but I think our idea is to at least get a digital version of the main album out to everybody, so they have something to listen to.
Yeah,
and then
at least for the Kickstarter
we'll
fans.
tidy up the second album and eventually the third album, and then the vinyl will get going once the main album is mastered and everything too. So.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good. I'm glad to see that you guys are still working hard on it.
We're working on it so much that it's almost unbelievable.
Yeah, right. My favorite thing when I was going through the
incredible.
Kickstarter is you're gonna give away the Spotify check. I thought that was hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Daniel in one of their Kickstarter videos, they were, saying, Spotify isn't the best sometimes, and they showed the check that they got, and it was like $3, and they're gonna give away that very check, which I think is great. So
only $1,000 you can buy our check.
yeah, right. No one's gotten the what was it, $4,000 reward yet. No one's stepped up, or was it 5,000? There was a 4,000 or 5,000. I forget.
I don't know. We put in some stupid expensive levels in there
Just why not?
in case somebody had recently won the lottery.
Hey, I mean,
hey, I want to give Freezepop.
there were like
$4,000.
4 1,000 backers. That's pretty cool.
That was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
We were kind of shocked we got that many.
Yeah. So I guess this next question follows into not just the new album, but as in general. What is the process of writing a song and making a new album for you guys? Like, how do you wake up in the morning and say like, okay, it's time to write a song?
We actually started writing music for this back in 2014. We did a bunch of instrumentals, and for a while what we thought we were going to do was do a lot of instrumentals and then kind of add vocals over the top, because we hadn't really written that way in a while.
Yeah.
But it didn't end up going that way. We ended up, as we got further into the writing process, we were writing the songs a bit more traditionally, like coming up with the titles first and then the choruses, and kind of branching out and doing the production afterwards. So it's been the process has been kind of all over the map. There's a few songs that are going to make it from that first batch of, 50 or 60 songs, and then we've probably added another 30 or so in the last year.
Mm.
So we'll sort of decide which ones are good.
Yeah, and if anything, if you got B-sides albums, and maybe for the future, you never know.
You've been putting out an instrumental album afterwards, too.
Yeah, there's always something you can release.
Mm-hmm.
Let me put your preview on. Can you say something, Daniel? Oh wait, no. I can only hear one of you at the same time, so I'm gonna leave Freezepop on, and hopefully I can hear you through the headphones across the room.
I can pretend to be Daniel.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, it's me, Daniel.
Also, again, I already told Liz about this. Exactly. Also, I already apologized, Liz, about this. When we were making the show, we didn't plan on having the same name, so I'm Danny and he's Daniel, just cause when we made the show.
We gotta go. Bye.
All right, bye. When we made the show, we thought, yeah, this is gonna be a great idea, and then we went on air, and I introduced myself, and I'm like, I'm Danny, and oh my God, Danny is hello, but yeah. So yeah, who are your biggest
What do you guys get
influences?
the wacky DJ name like DJ Raccoon or something?
Yeah, we need DJ names.
Yeah. DJ Table.
I want to be DJ Clockwork. That was my nickname in high school.
Oh,
And then
that's
it
pretty
was. So who are your biggest influences? Doesn't have to be musical.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. I mean,
I
it
think,
can just be musical, just to make it easier
Chris
to
and I
answer.
both share a love for sort of late 70s, early 80s new wave type music. Anything from like Kraftwerk, Human League, Depeche Mode, Duran Duran.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, we talk about Kraftwerk and Depeche Mode every once in a while. We love going through like decades on the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool. This one is for Liz. What does
Okay.
Tenisu no boyfriendo mean? Or boyfriendo?
Mhm.
What does that mean? Because I'm really curious and I love the song.
Like,
Don't ask her. Don't ask her.
I have to ask.
I played her song for like 4 years, and then I found out it was down.
I have to ask.
well, I mean, so the backstory here is I took one semester of Japanese, so it's extremely basic, but it's
Yeah.
basically in a nutshell, it's about my tennis boyfriend, and the chorus is, you are generally, what is it?
I know you just
You're
said
generally quite
Watashi.
energetic, aren't you? Tennis boyfriend, very good.
I mean, I guess that explains the music video, which I love, by the way.
Yeah, that was a very expensive video.
I can tell, right?
Probably about $2 million on the video.
And you made back triple that.
We shot. We ended up.
Yeah. And the ad revenue just blew that out of the water.
Ah.
Yeah. Well, I love the music video. I love the song. And honestly, I kind of like the basicness of it. It kind of just makes me laugh when I listen to it.
That was my favorite Freezepop song for years. So
Really?
Yeah. But it's really atmospheric, kind of moody, but in the right way.
Yeah, it's just catchy and fun. And you can tell that, you guys probably had a good time making it.
Yeah.
So,
This one video.
yeah. So, Daniel, do you want to ask about the video games?
Is he talking? I
Yeah,
can't
we're
hear him.
not- we're not hearing
Yeah,
you.
I'm looking at his levels. Let me see. Say something now.
Hello?
You may have to
Can you hear me?
translate for us.
Yeah.
Daniel, say something now.
What's up?
How about that?
There we go. There we
All
go.
right,
Hi,
yeah.
Daniel.
All right, yeah.
Cool.
So I was wondering, since you guys were at Harmonix from like basically the beginning, what was it like working on the first couple games and then into like Guitar Hero and Rock Band? Like, what was it like, like the Amplitude era, and then like what was it like working on the first couple Guitar Heroes and whatnot?
Well, at the beginning, it was a game called Frequency.
Yeah.
And Casson, who was in the band, was actually I sometimes get this a little mixed up, but he was a freelance composer there for a while before I think he was really working there, and they were just kind of asked him if he had any more music lying around, more music. And he was like, all I really have left is this new band that we've been doing for only a year or two called Freezepop, and he played them a couple songs, and I think it was Science Genius Girl went in Frequency.
I think so.
They liked one of the songs. They thought it was upbeat, and it just sort of became kind of a weird tradition. Like when they went to the Guitar Hero game, obviously that wasn't particularly appropriate for us because we didn't really have guitars.
Yeah.
But we did have the song that had a bunch of like funny guitar samples in it. They thought it was a cute idea, so we just kind of kept.
It was
going.
Ready to Rock, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. So it ended up being just kind of a weird tradition that it was kind of a joke too.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
like
I mean,
kind
they
of-
were always very supportive of their various employee bands and stuff, so it was,
I mean, I'm sure
Uh,
Guitar Hero 2 really helped the band's popularity.
oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
It was, like, exponential.
No, it was very complicated. It was a real moment of zeitgeist on that particular game, and we were. It was one of our better songs, really. It was in the game, so it kind of really worked out for us. The time was.
I mean, personally, it's my favorite song by you guys, and it's probably the song that got me into you guys, and just the one I've known for the longest.
I mean, you played a lot of Guitar Hero 2.
Oh
back in
yeah,
the day,
so the story with Guitar Hero 2 and that song with me was I knew about the song before the game, and I remember going into an EV Games, and I saw that I think I was on the back of the cover. It said like featuring songs from Buckethead and Freezepop, and that was like enough to sell me. So I remember picking it up for like $12 at EB Games, and I was kind of disappointed. I had to unlock the song, but I shouldn't have been surprised because I played Guitar Hero games before. That's what you got to do, but still, I'm like, I just want to play Freezepop, And I'm glad that wasn't one of the covers, because there were a lot of covers in that game because of copyrights, but that was one of the actual, just normal recordings, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing that made it sort of interesting was that since the Duke, worked for Harmonix, like, he had, like, perspective on what would also make a really fun song to play, as opposed to just like, oh, here's, like, some random song, now, like, turn it into a video game. Like, he actually, he was like, oh, this song specifically, and I mean, I just, as a disclaimer, I'm like really, really terrible at Guitar Hero. But I mean, I've heard from people who are actually legitimately good at it that our song is like super hard, and like
it's really fun to play.
It's
like,
hard,
it's really fun to play.
It's super fun to play because it's all just
it just keeps going,
scales.
and it just keeps saying faster because like it starts off all nice, and then it's just like, and you're just like, It's a really fun song.
It's so much fun. Yeah, probably my favorite song to play in Guitar Hero 2, right next to like Jordan and maybe, I don't know, Megadeth.
Yeah, it's up there with like the most fun songs on the game. Not gonna lie.
Tour with them. That would be a good tour.
Yeah, right. Just start touring with like plastic guitars.
Peace sells, but who's dancing?
But who's dancing? All right, new album. That's the name. Confirmed. So, any chance you guys plan to release more vinyl, possibly if your past albums, and I know Future Perfect just turned 10 recently. Possible 10th anniversary thing. Yeah.
A week ago, I think. Yeah. We've been talking about it. It's another one of those things where we probably have to do some kind of crowdfunding for it.
True.
And we wanted to make sure that we were tidied up on the Kickstarter that we already have going before we start another one.
And before we start asking people for more money.
In like a year, when the dust has cleared a little bit, we might try to get people interested in a big vinyl box set. We have been talking about it for a long time, but it's got to be secondary to the new music,
Oh yeah, I totally
Of course,
understand.
yeah.
Just something to have up in the air. Of course.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to focus on reselling something you've already done.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean,
it is set up a whole
really
other
good.
Kickstarter.
It's really good for fans that
Yeah,
like,
conversely, we do want that stuff available to people who want it on vinyl. I mean, we'd like it too. I'd love to just hold them and be like, oh, here it is.
Exactly. That's
this
the
is
whole.
my music.
That
It's so
album,
big.
I have all these memories
That's-
attached to it. Here's a big, awesome, physical version.
That's my favorite thing about vinyl. Just like holding the album, be like,
Yeah,
wow, I have this.
The
This
big,
is mine.
the big freaking what you call it? The album art just being so big, it just
Oh, it's
makes it. It's
beautiful.
just so
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
It's when you just hold it, it's just like wow.
You just get like Freezepop forever. You just see the giant green tongue. I'm like, oh, finally, finally.
Wow, I thought I'd probably have to create all the album art. Like, it was done so long ago, I think I was using like Quark Express.
Yeah, right. Just done.
I mean, this was like a super long time ago. Wow, I hadn't even thought about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I think Daniel wanted to ask about Kodomo.
Oh yeah. So
Are you guys listening to Air?
Yes, we are. It's playing in the background ever so. I'll turn it up just a little bit. There we go. But yeah,
yeah.
we
So
had a question about Kodomo.
so I know that you. So we had Kodomo on 2 weeks ago in studio actually. So I was just
Oh,
wondering,
cool.
because he told us about, because we saw that like when I looked at his Wikipedia, like, because I've listened to like his music, but like it says like way back when he did like remixes for you guys, and also he was working there at the same time as you. So like,
I think that's what started his career,
Yeah.
making
So, like,
remixes of Freezepop.
how did that come about? Like you guys you and like Kodomo like working out with like the remixes and all that.
Well, we were friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I guess it
back
starts
then
with
we were
that.
Just like, oh, hey, what if our friends want to do a remix for us?
Who of our friends has actually the ability to do remix for us?
I mean,
No, Chris's music has always been really intriguing to us, and he's a great programmer, an amazing producer, and
Yeah.
he was even then. He was back then. I mean, there was no question of that, really. He was a very obvious choice for us.
Yeah, kind of like
At that
same
time,
sets
yeah.
of influences, and yeah.
yeah, it's cool because I tried to do a little bit of research, and his remix of Tennis and No Boyfriendo is pretty good. I gotta give
Oh
him
yeah,
credit.
I do like
And-
that one quite a lot.
And I think
His
that was his
remixes
first
tend to be some
one.
of the better ones, yeah, for sure.
I think that was also his very first one, which is crazy to believe. But
Really? Yeah.
we had him on the show, and I said like, oh yeah, we might have Freezepop. He's like, oh really? I love those guys. I'm good friends with them. And I'm like, oh great. We'll bring
Yeah,
that
no,
up.
he's awesome.
Yeah.
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 So do you guys have
Finally
any?
did a show with him, like, what, 2 years ago maybe? He was in...
Really?
Yeah.
Played with, he played live in a band up here a couple of years ago, and we did a show together.
Oh, I didn't even know he
Show.
performed with a band. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, he played with
I'm drawing a blank here.
Yeah, it was in the band. They only played like 1 or 2 shows.
Do you know Daniel?
I don't know.
Yeah. Either way.
I'll get back to you.
Yeah, right. Google. So any plans for touring and doing any shows anytime soon, or are you just focusing on the album right now?
Well, see, when we started doing the albums, we're like, all right, let's not play any shows while we're doing it, because it is like super distracting.
Yeah.
We just kind of wanted to plow through the album, but obviously that has not happened because the album has taken a lot longer than we expected. So now it was like, just, you know, we haven't played a show in like a year and a half. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I miss it. And so we're like, oh, yeah, maybe we should have booked some shows, like, you know, sort of in there. But I don't know.
We're certainly looking forward to getting back into that mode.
Yeah.
But it's been as we've gotten older, it's been more of a challenge to kind of go back and forth. Because touring is pretty exhausting, and you know, when you get done with a tour, you don't necessarily want to wake up the next morning and write new songs or work on a new record. But we're talking about doing some dates in like March or April, maybe
That's
with
cool.
a very special guest. But we'll know more soon.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, I guess, you know, you don't have to start out as a tour. It could just be a few shows here and there, and then maybe, you know, when the album comes out.
Yeah, we're actually very wimpy about touring.
Oops. Oh, oops.
So Kodomo did play a show with Freezepop and Symbian Project.
Oh wow.
That was,
Oh, yeah, it
Kodomo
was the
asked-
harmonic
it was-
show.
Simian Project. Oh, wow.
It was
Nice.
a little over a year ago, year and a half ago. Yeah.
Any chance of a New York show?
Oh, certainly.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I could see that.
Probably the second show we play. Yeah.
Sweet.
We'll definitely
We'll
be
see
there.
you there.
Where should we do it?
Ooh.
Terminal
Where
5
should
is
they
a
do?
nice
I mean,
place.
Terminal
I
5
love
is pretty
Terminal
cool.
5.
Hammerstein
That's like-
Ballroom.
Huge.
No, we don't. Yeah, we're.
You know, I'd say Webster Hall, but I think they
not-
got torn down.
A little bit more like 400 people.
Yeah.
Oh, what was that place we were just at the other day?
Where were we?
Uh,
The one in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
You know more than I do. It was,
Hold on,
you were
let
the
me go
one
look
that,
that
had directions.
Is the Knitting Factory still there? I don't even know.
That we're not sure. We're not actually from New York, but we're up there all the time for shows.
Yeah,
we're
we're close.
actually from
Okay.
New Jersey.
Our Brooklynite house guest in the next room just piped in with yes.
Oh, the output.
The Output? That's
yeah,
what
the
it was
output
called?
was. We just
Oh,
saw
cool.
Wolfgang Gartner there. It was a
Yeah, that's
I
pretty
love
small place.
Rough Trade.
But
Maybe Rough Trade. We're gonna look at Rough Trade.
All right, cool.
Gotcha.
And I think Brooklyn Bowl, that's also pretty cool. It's a nice, you know, medium-sized venue.
yeah.
The
yeah,
fr-
we've done Mercury Lounge too, and that was always pretty fun.
I've heard of that. I've never been there, though.
Good
I'm sure
sound.
it's cool.
It's in Manhattan, not Brooklyn, but
Okay.
it's pretty good.
Good sound. We could do it. We could do a weekend. Manhattan, Brooklyn tour.
Exactly. There's the door. So, what was the crazy experience that you can remember from a show? Whether it be from you guys or a fan or something.
The first thing that came to mind was when we played in San Francisco, and the Duke got a little excited and started ripping keys off his guitar and bleeding all over everything.
Wait, what was that? Panic at the Disco?
The Duke, who used to be in our band, we were playing in San Francisco. It must have been on the Future Perfect tour.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He
He jumped up on one of the monitors, and then it tipped over.
he had to grab his guitar to keep his balance, and he snapped a bunch of the keys off, and then there was just blood everywhere, and it was kind of like.
But he finished playing the show.
Yeah, you
And,
gotta
at the
pretend
end
it's a part of the show.
The car was just soaked in blood, and it was super dramatic.
It's all planned. Yeah.
It was planned. Yeah.
It was not playing.
Yeah. The fans don't need to know that.
Oh,
Oops.
It's a cool effect, you guys.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, we
It's-
spent a lot of time on that.
We
Yeah.
gotta reel the blood
Yeah,
marks.
and then so like, you know, the next day we're like, you know, driving around in between shows and it's like, oh, where can I get a guitar repaired in like 2 hours?
We prohibited vodka from being in the green room after that.
Oh.
When did Bananas and Christmas join the band?
2009?
Oh, cool.
Wow, that long ago? Holy moly.
Wow. Went by
Duke told
fast.
us the Duke told us he couldn't keep going in like May, and Bananas had already been touring with us for 5 years or something, about my 4 years.
Mhm.
So he kind of earned his stripes. So we asked him immediately, and then we'd been talking about having another woman in the band for a long time, and it was just this crazy luck, really, that we happened to get Christmas in the band. She was a friend of friends. And then kind of became our friend, and she was a fan of the band from when she was in college and stuff.
Oh, cool.
She was a huge fan, and so it was kind of when we asked her, she was kind of like, "What?"
Of course.
That's like her day.
That's
yeah,
her
that's
dream.
that's her dream right there.
We didn't even know if she could play an instrument or anything.
Yeah, whatever.
She loved to play an instrument, but she had classical piano training, and it was an amazing series of luck in terms of getting her in the band. It was kind of, when I think back on it, it's kind of mind-boggling.
Oh, it's all
yeah,
cool.
She was actually part of the process of, we sent out demos for Imaginary Friends to everybody, you know, to be able to become a trusted circle of friends. And as she had been a fan of the band before, we'd sent her all the demos. So she'd actually heard all that music before anybody else anyway.
Wow.
And then maybe 6 months later, we talked to her about joining the band. Yeah, and I think she played her first show in like November, December of 2009.
I forget if you already said it. How did Bananas join the band?
Yeah, he'd been touring with us for a long time.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
The Duke had not been able to do tour. You know, he kind of kept getting promoted to harmonics because he was doing a great job. But unfortunately, that meant that he couldn't really, you know, leave for 2 weeks at a time to go do Midwest tours in the snow. So
Yeah, right.
Bananas had, you know, he was really in the trenches. That was right around the time when Future Perfect was out, and we were kind of at the height of our popularity in a weird way, and Casson wasn't really able to do the tours, so, you know, Bananas was like on the road with us sort of constantly, it seemed like, for a while. So he really earned his way. Like, you know, when it came time to, you know, getting somebody new in the band, he was really already there. It was really not even a choice.
Yeah, might as well just have him stick around.
Yeah, just have him as a permanent member. You know, I think we were actually talking about having him as a permanent member.
Oh, yeah, like even
Casson
before
left.
Casson
Yeah.
retired.
Oh, wow.
Anyway, yeah.
I guess it just worked out.
Yeah, just
Yeah, it was great.
kind of.
Kinda, in a way. So what was the biggest venue you guys ever played at?
Biggest video. Well, I mean, playing PAX was definitely like.
Oh, yeah. I forgot you guys
I
did
mean,
that.
especially the first PAX we did was just like mind-boggling.
When was that?
When was our first PAX? Like 2008?
Oh,
08?
Oh,
It might have
wow.
been 07.
Yeah.
Yeah, back when there was like just the one in Seattle.
We're going from like 350-person clubs to like 5,000 people, and we were like,
How do we do this?
Yeah, it was extremely nerve-wracking.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking, and we weren't good at it actually at the beginning. We weren't. It took a little practice to get good at playing those like bigger things. I mean, eventually we got pretty good at it, but it was definitely that first year we were not prepared to like bring the epicness that we did bring
Yeah.
later on.
You did multiple PAXs or just the one?
Oh, we did.
Oh, we've done a ton. Yeah,
Really?
we did. I mean, we did PAX in Seattle for several years running, and then we got rotated out for a little while, and then a couple years ago we kind of got back into it, and then did like all of them. So we did the Boston one, which was great because you know
Yeah,
we're from
that's
here,
nice.
so it's sort of like a big homecoming thing. But then we did the one in San Antonio, and also the one in Australia.
Oh, you did PAX Australia?
Amazing.
Wow.
Yeah,
Crazy.
we went to Australia. It was like the coolest thing ever.
How many
It
out
was
of...
in Melbourne, and we were just like, "Oh my God, I'm ready to be here. I love it."
When was the last one you went
That
to?
was a pretty incredible venue. Maybe the best venue we've ever played.
Oh, wow.
Cool. Yeah, when was the last one you guys did?
The what?
The last PAX you guys did?
The last PAX was no, I think it was Seattle. It was like a couple years ago.
Seattle.
Yeah, it was a couple years ago.
Oh, wow. That's still pretty recent.
Yeah. So, you know, hopefully, you know, once we actually have new music out, we'll sort of get.
We'll knock on the door again.
Yeah, we'll be
Yeah.
like, oh,
Hey, guys.
we got some new music.
Yeah, they'll probably
Yeah.
take you back.
Shows, I mean, we just, you know, they're really fun shows. The fans are always really supportive at those events. They're always there, they're ready to party and meet everybody. And you know, we just sign stuff for hours and hours and hours. And
It's weird. It's like we're famous for a weekend, and then we get to go back to being not famous.
And then you just have like the diehard fans afterwards, which I guess will never go away, which is pretty cool. I mean, you got the album back in a day, which is insane.
years ago, I wouldn't know how to answer that question.
I mean, you
Now,
did get like
there.
$30,000 in one day, so I mean,
Yeah, not a
there's
lot of
that.
bands can do that.
We were amazed.
Hmm.
Shocking, actually.
Yeah.
Also, going back to Kickstarter, like, what sparked your idea to do through Kickstarter?
I think we've sort of seen the band as this weird anomaly where we're part of all these different scenes. Like, it's music, but it's also gaming. It's also like we're sort of connected to a bunch of different things. And Kickstarter seemed like the most obvious choice in terms of just like pop culture type impact. Like rather than doing pledge music or doing something that was really music centric, we thought we would connect more with people who found out about us in a lot of different ways.
Yeah. I guess
And I
with
think that was true, you know.
I guess with Bandcamp you can spread out a little bit more with the rewards and whatnot. Like the
Well,
rewards can
eventually
literally
we'll
be
put
whatever you
Bandcamp
want.
too. I mean, we'll put it on Bandcamp eventually too, probably.
Yeah, definitely.
We're gonna do a big Bandcamp release of everything probably in like a year.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. Did you, kind of a weird question. Do you ever get moshes at your shows, or is it mainly just jumping up and down?
Yeah, it does happen occasionally. Like the weirdest thing once, like people were moshing to Plastic Stars, and we were just like, "What?
This
are
is
you
happening."
doing?"
Pretty mellow song, yeah.
I mean, I go
But
nuts
yeah,
to less
occasionally it
rock, more rock. I go nuts. Just like
Yeah, that
fair
happens.
warning.
That happens.
Yeah.
No, it's always fun when it happens, as long as nobody gets hurt, you know. But
Yeah, right.
I mean, the more energetic the audience is, the better we tend to play, I think.
Yeah, we kind of feed off of it.
So this is something we kind of asked our guests so far. I don't know how much you follow electronic music in general. What are your thoughts on kind of the direction electronic and dance music has been going on in the coming years and whatnot? Because in the 90s, it was mainly like house music, a lot more, I don't know, synth pop like you guys,
Industrial
and
and
rave
whatnot. music,
music, and now it's just more EDM-y and radio-y. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
Yeah, I personally don't pay a lot of attention to PM. Like, I do like some new music,
Yeah.
but it is sort of like a little more throwback-y.
Yeah.
Yeah, we agree.
Electronic music that sounds kind of classic.
Yeah, and then dubstep came around. That was like the norm for a little bit, and
Yeah, I like, songs that have, like, verses and choruses and hooks and stuff,
Yeah.
not just, like, noises.
exactly, yeah, just
I'm an
bass,
old lady.
just
There's some
bass.
radio
These
pop-
young kids and their
These whippersnappers.
These whippersnappers and their new music.
and their dupe step music.
I mean, there's a lot of music that's on the radio now that I think 15 years ago I would have said, oh, that sounds like it's kind of in our wheelhouse. You know? But the style has actually sort of become more commercial in a way. I mean,
Yeah.
some of it isn't that far away from our style, but there's some disconnect there. I don't know what it is. Lyrics, maybe? There's something there that's not quite on our level or something? Or
Yeah.
maybe we're not on their level? I don't know. There's something.
Someone's like not on each other's level. We don't know who.
Yeah.
So I think you guys kind of addressed this in your Kickstarter video, but what are your thoughts on the music industry and the platform it's using to have people listen to bands and whatnot, aka, streaming versus buying music? Because it's pretty obvious that streaming is the norm right now, and it's probably going to be the norm for a little bit until something, or a long time.
Basically.
Yeah, I mean,
You just have to hope that enough people know how it works. that
Yeah.
They've listened to, if they've streamed your shit 100 times, that they, you can, something in the back of their mind says, oh wait, I should spend $10 on this, or whatever.
or at least like buy a T-shirt or
Yeah.
something. Like,
Yeah, you'd hope.
Come out to a show. Come to the show. Whatever it is.
yeah, I just kind of feel like not that many people really realize the fact that bands really don't make any money from streaming. So, I mean, the whole thing with Kickstarter was interesting just because, like, the whole mentality of people being like, oh, I'm going to support this band because they need my help. Like, it's very different when you're asking for help at the outset versus, like, oh, hey, we put out a CD, won't you guys buy it? And like, and the whole mentality is different. Like, people are just way more excited about, like, oh, I'm sponsoring this band because they're great.
It feels more personal. Yeah, it feels more
like
personal
they just
that way.
Feel like they have more of a hand in it, which is awesome.
Yeah.
I was the most skeptical about doing a crowdfunding Kickstarter type thing. And I was, as has been often the case with this band, I was just completely wrong. Like, I didn't know, I just didn't understand that whole culture of it. That there's a real, with Kickstarter especially, there's like a culture of people who go onto Kickstarter to see what the cool new project is and that kind of stuff. And I had no idea about any of this, just none.
Yeah, a lot of people will just go on every day to see what can I invest in, what's the, what can, be potential.
I had no idea, but, we come from, especially Catherine and I, who were in bands probably, in the 80s and 90s, we come from this, like, very specific kind of background where if you're an independent, you go on tour and you put out your own records and you don't sell out and, yada, 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 yada.
Yeah.
All this stuff that's completely irrelevant now.
Yeah, because,
But it's been hard to get ourselves out of that mentality a little bit and be more modern.
Yeah, I mean,
but we're doing it.
You'd be surprised. There are people that like have backed like thousands of Kickstarters. Like that's what they do. They just like to go on and see what's coming up. So like these people just want to
have
help.
the money.
They just want to like bring things to fruition. Like they'll just look at your project and they'll go look at your like your background, like all of your different music. And they'll be like, wow, I should totally give this person a lot of money.
Yeah, no, we were actually pretty collaborative with the Kickstarter people, and eventually I think we were down at Moogfest and we hung out with them, and they
oh wow,
they really explained a lot of this to me. Like, I didn't really know. Like, the girl was like, "Well, this is like a hobby for people." I had no idea really. A lot of it I didn't understand. So, and I'm glad we did do it, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, you got a few $1,000 backers, which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Do you remember some of the rewards for that? Do you remember some of the rewards for that? I think one of them is, I mean, there's the check, which is one thing, but then like you guys are writing them specific songs or something like that.
Yeah, there's like some custom songs, and there's like if you want to come to dinner with us if you're in Boston or whatever, and like.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, sandwiches. That was my favorite reward. Sandwiches.
Just sandwiches.
Yeah, we're going to make a sandwich and mail it to you.
And you'll like it.
I mean, you don't have to, but...
You don't have to. I mean, you gave us $1,000, so hope you do. So, I mean, I guess the newest album counts, but what album was the hardest to make that you guys remember?
Third album.
Was that Future?
Yeah, that was kind of hard.
Yeah, really? It definitely, like, when I listen to it, it really feels like you guys worked the hardest on that. Personally, my favorite is Imaginary Friends as an entire album. While, like, Future has some of my favorite, singles. Like, Let's Talk About Rock is my favorite song by you guys. But I think Imaginary Friends was my favorite, like, consistent album to listen to as a whole.
I'd agree with that.
I mean, it was definitely a more concerted effort on our part to make Imaginary Friends like a cohesive feeling album.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that I like the second album a lot in terms of that, but
that's actually the only one I haven't heard, so I can't talk about that one.
Future Perfect was tricky, just because it was tricky. It was tricky scheduling everything and just who was going to write what and who was going to do what, and it was just kind of it was a weird time period for us, I think. That's
back when you guys were still a trio, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess Imaginary Friends.
There are certainly. I mean, it has certainly some of my favorite moments too, in terms of just Let's Talk More Rock and Front Mode, really. But yeah, as an album, I think we were kind of struggling to meet in the middle somehow, and it was kind of tricky.
Yeah, and I guess Imaginary Friends seemed, it sounded like a different step in a different direction, but it's still Freezepop, and I guess that was from the help of Christmas and Bananas joining the band. It was just a different mentality while writing the music.
Yeah, there's just a different personality to it. we wanted to kind of push it in a certain direction.
Yeah, I mean, the fact, like, the absence of the Duke, like, it was just different factors that he was sort of interested in that we, like, he was definitely kind of, like, more rhythmic, whereas Sean's writing is kind of more melodic, I think.
Okay.
Well, we wanted to make a record that was really good, but we didn't want to imitate his style either. You know, we didn't want to be, like, insulting.
Yeah, exactly.
We're going to imitate what came before. It was a little tricky at the beginning just to find a new place to go that wasn't pandering.
Yeah, I think it worked out. It was a step in a different direction, but it was still Freezepop, you know?
Yeah.
Which is great.
Well, we were pretty cognizant of, especially around that time, we didn't want to, like, lose our entire fan base.
Yeah, right.
So there was, like, certainly a struggle to make sure that it was catchy and, you know.
And it's crazy. The
songs worked.
And that came out 3 years after Future. Now it's been 7 years. It's been a long time.
It's been too long.
Yeah. So I guess,
It'll be worth the wait. It'll be worth the wait.
Does it feel good making a new album after, you know, all these years?
It does now. We struggled for a while to kind of go into a new musical territory, and then once we kind of got there, we were stuck on lyrics forever.
Writer's block.
It actually became really frustrating. I was a little bit worried at one point, like, oh, we had no lyrics. But we broke through that finally. I think we recorded. In May, we did demo vocals on 15 or 16 songs, and now we're finishing up another group of 10 or so. So the lyric barrier and the musical barriers, you know, the problem with doing a Kickstarter and setting dates on these things is it's creative, and you can't necessarily plan for when the floodgates are going to open. You know, when are the lyrics going to arrive today? It's not like waiting for the mailman. You have to kind of wait for creatively a right moment, and that's very tricky if you have people waiting for your album.
Yeah, but I mean, our fans have been extremely patient.
Yeah.
You know, we kind of do our best to keep them updated, and they're like, you know, they're very understanding because, you know, they don't want us to put out a shitty album. So.
Yeah, it's all good.
I mean, crappy. Sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. So we're gonna take a 5-10 minute break.
Okay.
We have our news guy coming in here, so we're gonna let this song play out, and then we're gonna go. And we are back to Oddball Frequency, your #1 source for a waste of time. But not a waste of time today, because we got Freezepop. How's it going, guys?
We just wrote a new song.
What? Already?
What do you think?
I swear to God, it's the catchiest song ever made. I'm gonna already regret playing that song because it's just gonna be stuck in my head.
It has a way of doing that.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I saw them live. I saw Air live maybe like a few months ago.
I love
and
it.
Too.
It was great. They put on a much like better show than I expected.
Yeah, they're really good.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're one of my favorites.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Moon Safari is just great. So Out of your music videos, which do you think was your favorite to make, and which one was the hardest to make? Or maybe, the most stressful or whatever.
Favorite to make or good?
Both, I guess? You can answer both?
Yeah, both would be good.
Yeah.
Doppelganger was certainly fun to make.
Doppelganger was really fun to do.
Yeah, I like that one. Was that the only one off Imaginary Friends?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still pretty good.
Tennis Boyfriend was really fun to me, too.
Mm-hmm. And of course, like, Tanisu, no, Boyfriend, it's just like...
Brainpower was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Brainpower was a fun one.
Is that the one with the TV remote?
Yeah.
I like that one, yeah. That one's pretty funny. And,
like, the Mega 64 dudes did it with us, and it was a fun collaboration.
Yeah, they were funny. Which one was the hardest to make?
Hardest.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I would say, at least on my part, when I was doing like the Flash animated ones, like those were really insanely time consuming because as it turns out, animation is really difficult.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Stakeout I love, but it took like forever. But I was unemployed at the time, so it actually worked out rather well.
Yeah, right. So, since, I'm guessing you guys have been listening to pop and electronic music for some time, how do you guys feel like electronic music... What were you asking, Daniel? It was not really the music.
I was wondering, so, like, since you've listened to electronic music up to now, like, what are your thoughts? Like what have what you listened to back then, like when you guys were younger and also when you guys were first starting out, versus now really changed?
I mean, we still listen to a lot of music from back then.
Yeah.
I actually think, for me, I had a weird peak of really loving stuff in like 2004, 2005. For some reason, that was a real watershed moment for me in terms of like indie electronic bands like Ladytron and
Ladytron's great.
Bands like that. Like there were, I'm trying to think who else was around like that, but the Kings of Convenience guys made a bunch of cool remix albums, and then that the guy from that band went on to do a bunch of really great music. And
I don't know if you guys are metal or System of a Down fans, but that's when like System of a Down really was like the band for me, pretty much.
yeah, I think they're from our street.
No way.
What?
I
I don't know.
If that's the case, that's insane. I love those guys. How do you think your music has evolved? Like, do you think you guys, it's from your first album to the album you're making now, do you think it's really been a big step or like a coming of age with music or something?
Well, I think all of it has value, right?
Of course, yeah. I'm not trying to say like, oh, do you like your music now and hate your music back then?
Yeah, yeah. It's not like that at all. It's kind of like.
I feel like the early songs are a little like, I mean, not cringeworthy, but like some of them have stood the test of time better than others. I would say. But I mean, like, a song like Plastic Stars on our first album, like. Still play that at like every show because it's like one of our better songs.
Yeah.
As opposed to like, Robotron, maybe not quite the same.
I'll play Robotron, whatever.
Yeah, why not?
I mean,
I think it's gotten, I guess, sort of like less self-consciously campy, I suppose. Like, my approach in the very early days was not really thinking like, oh, is this joke gonna hold up like 18 years later,
Yeah. That's also, I mean, it's kind of hard, for your first album, to do everything perfect. It's just a little hard.
You got your whole life to write your first album, and then after that, it's all time-based.
On Imaginary Friends, we wrote everything pretty much on like piano and guitar, like really like kind of almost songwritery kind of songwriting. And the goal with the new album was to go back and do it a bit more like the first album, where a lot of the production was kind of done before the songs were really taking shape.
Mm-hmm.
But we found that it was very difficult to go backwards, actually. It's got to be somewhere in the middle. It's got to be a little of both.
Yeah, you got to please as many people as possible.
Musically, I think compositionally, we are going forward. I mean, I think when I listen to some of the new music, I think it is a little bit more advanced. Like we are pushing forward compositionally a little bit. Yeah. Every album, we always listen to everything at the beginning and think like, well, what's the next logical place? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like with your older music, it's very like poppy and like a little dorky in some ways, which is, you know, it works
Yeah,
in
it
some
really
songs. But you know, I'll listen to something like hypothetically off Imaginary Friends that sounds really advanced and detailed.
I mean,
you know, the instrumentals in that song.
It clearly shows that you guys have done, like, over the years, you just gotten better and better.
Yeah.
Not to say, like, the early stuff is bad. It's just, like, there's just a difference. And, like, even though the older stuff is all good and, like, and whatnot, like, you just tell, like, the differences between the albums and whatnot.
Yeah, I think one of the key times doing Imaginary Friends that we did want it to be a little more, what is the right word? Sophisticated, maybe? Or something developed. We wanted the whole thing to have a real developed feel, like it was all very well thought out, and it was all very well thought out. Whereas on the other records, I think, especially on the third album, we were kind of just throwing everything together and seeing what would land. You know?
Yeah, like, will this work? Hope so.
Yeah. The new album sort of like that, but more.
Cool.
I need to listen to it a few times in order to really say, but it seems like it's
Yeah, just listen to it for 18 years.
Yeah, right. So, since, you know, the band has started, what was that?
18 years is all.
I don't think I really thought it.
So since you guys have started, you know, you've played a lot of shows, have you seen changes in audience or like trends and the different type of people that you're pulling in? Has it been like, I don't know, did it start out a little niche, and then as the years went on, you started to see like, I don't know, more various kinds of people who listen to music?
I mean, I guess the biggest shift for us was like once we started being in video games.
Yeah.
You know, on the very early days, like before we're in video games, it was basically like, you know, if you liked electronic music, then,
Dance
you know,
music.
people would come to our shows, or like, you know, like if you were an Electroflash kid, or, you know, we toured Europe a lot more back in the early days, just because they are a lot more friendly over there, or they were anyway back in the day. But then once, you know, we started being in video games, we started touring a lot more here, just because a lot more people knew us, and so yeah, it just
Turns out it's more fun to play to 400 people than to 40.
Yeah, right. Like, who can complain? Guitar Hero comes out, here comes the nerds, pretty much. But hey, I'm a nerd. That's how I got into it. I can't complain either.
I mean,
And I don't know,
it's,
Guitar Hero 2 is pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it must be pretty cool to know that, like, when people think of, like, a specific game, they generally think about your song. Because, like, when I think of Guitar Hero 2, it's really, yeah, it's just that song. Like, honestly.
Yeah, I
Like, not even kidding.
I introduced you guys to my one friend a few years ago through Guitar Hero 2. And then when I mentioned to him, like, oh, I'm going to have Freezepop on the show, and, like, his immediate reaction was, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. He just started doing that over and over again. He just starts, like, screaming that. And I'm like, yeah, cool.
that's us.
I'm excited, too. So, you know, you guys have had to make a Kickstarter, and you showed your Spotify check or whatever streaming check that was. Since money has been kind of hard on the band at one point, was retiring Freezepop ever an option?
I think when the Duke left the band, we certainly had like a week of conversations like, well, do we change the name? You know, like, is it the same band?
Like, I know you guys did a lot of side projects, right? Like, you released an album recently, right?
Yeah, a week ago.
Sweet, congrats.
It's called Regretro. It's by a band called Lifestyle. You can find it on Bandcamp.
People, go check that out right now.
It's really good. I mean, I'm biased, but it's really good.
But yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of, like, the idea of retiring the band was, like, in terms of, like, financial considerations, like, we wanted to do the Kickstarter just because we really didn't want to have to outlay our own money again. But yeah, like, if it hadn't met its goal, then we would have had to do some soul searching, I guess, and be like,
I think if the Kickstarter hadn't worked, we did certainly talk about it. Like, well, at what point do we know that it's not really a viable thing anymore?
Yeah.
But I don't think we'd ever stop completely making songs. Because I think even if we took a really long break, I think that'd have some fun just in the surprise of making some more Freezepop songs. But I think, we really weren't sure how it was going to pan out if we only made like 15 grand on that Kickstarter. I mean, I think we'll always put out a song here and there, but maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, it could have been like a side project, and unfortunately, that might have been the case.
Yeah,
you know.
Well, it didn't
but
happen
luckily,
that way.
very luckily, that's not what happened.
We're actually already starting to plan another album.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, you mean a third album?
No, like a new album for 2019.
Oh, I was about to say, like, you guys had the 2 albums from Kickstarter, and let's already start making the third one. Why not?
Well, no, we're certainly not making it. We're talking about it.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Talking about some concepts.
First thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a lot of music to work on at once.
I mean, massive props, but jeez.
Yeah, I mean, if you could do that, like, wow.
Yeah. So that was kind of the last super serious question. The next few questions are just kind of the finale of the interview. First one being butter or cream cheese on bagels. It's a very important question.
Cream cheese.
I would generally say cream cheese, but honestly,
Wrong.
depends on the kind of bagel too.
All right, show's over. Get out.
How about for a raisin
I like
bagel?
butter.
Cinnamon
raisin?
raisin bagel.
A raisin bagel?
Cinnamon raisin bagel.
I would have to say peanut butter on that.
Wow.
Ooh.
Ooh, you just killed me. I've been cursed with the peanut allergy.
Oh.
I know.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, exactly.
What about everything bagel?
I still got almond butter. Yeah.
I generally like cream cheese, but I like butter and peanut butter, so all those things sound nice. Butter and cream cheese together could actually be quite delicious.
It is.
All right, I'll let that slide. That's all right. That just redeemed you. Favorite beer?
I don't like beer.
You don't like beer, but you talk about it all the time in songs.
I'm more of a cocktail girl.
Okay. Cocktails are pretty good.
Beer is like an acquired taste that I just never acquired.
No, that's
I
fine.
don't
I got
like
a lot
it
of friends.
either.
It just never. Daniel.
I don't like any alcohol
Yeah,
though.
Bananas drinks a lot of beer. He enjoys his beers.
The only real beer drinker.
Props. Yeah, Daniel over here doesn't drink at all. It's just
alcohol just tastes bad, honestly.
Yeah, it's just not for everyone.
We do enjoy many cocktails. Maybe probably too many.
Wine. Wine is also very good. Can't hurt.
Yeah. And I mean, I was very excited for the return of Zima this summer. I was like, the days of my youth.
Yeah, right.
Mind you, don't have any.
Yeah, like maybe have like one bottle. Like as you get older, it's not very kind on you.
Totally understandable. Favorite movie, band, and album?
Movie, band, album?
Yeah, for both of you.
For both of you, yes.
Empire Strikes Back, Duran Duran, Violator by Depeche
What was
Violator
that?
by Depeche Mode?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Empire Strikes Back is like in my top 5.
Yeah.
I love that movie.
And also, I'm really glad you didn't say prequel, but
Yeah, no prequels allowed on the show. As far as Star Wars.
I feel like we're on the same page here.
Yeah. Right.
I'm pretty sure most people who like Star Wars are on the same page about
Radio, airwave, high five, pretty much. What about you, Liz?
Love Duran Duran.
Probably Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Yes, I love that movie.
Good choice.
Also Duran Duran.
Mm-hmm.
Great choice.
You have to actively try not to sound like Duran Duran.
Duran.
Why not just remix all their songs?
Yeah, right? You guys are now a Duran Duran cover band. Starting now.
That's too much pressure. They're too good.
And
favorite album? I don't know. I might say the first Duran Duran album.
all right, that's cool.
I don't know. Or like maybe also Rio. I don't know. It really kind of, depending on my mood, I go back and forth between the two.
Yeah.
What about favorite song?
As like,
Oh yeah. What about?
greatest of all time.
They're very different.
Yeah.
I mean, Rio was just kind of more poppy.
Yeah.
And like, the first one is like a little more artsy, weird, 80s. I don't know.
Yeah.
What are your guys' favorite songs?
If you guys have.
Overall, like favorite. I know that's a really hard one, but
Yeah, that's
mine is Last Chance on the Stairway, which is on the Rio album. So.
okay.
yeah.
God, I don't know. It changes week to week.
Yeah, a lot of people say that the song is the hardest one to answer because it's so specific.
I like Never Let Me Down Again by Depeche Mode quite a bit.
Also really cool.
I love Depeche
I
Mode.
like Secret Streets of October by Duran Duran.
Nice.
Depeche Mode are amazing.
So, how can people listen to Freezepop? You know, if someone wanted to get into you guys for the first time, where should they start?
They should send us $100 and then we'll send them some CDs.
And then we might send them. We'll think about sending them something.
We have stuff on the internet.
Ooh.
A lot on YouTube.
There's a lot on YouTube. iTunes,
We have some stuff.
Your
we
website.
have some stuff on Spotify. Not everything on Spotify, but
Pandora?
yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of all over the place, really. Like we're on most of the things, or at least like have some.
The main platforms.
You guys have your own website, freezepop.com? or-
We do. Well, we haven't updated it in a very long time. That
Gotcha.
is another project that is sort of in the works, which will, hopefully be like sooner than our album, but
Yeah, gotcha.
it's in the works.
We're sort of doing a big refresh on everything, like the website and the record, and everything will kind of land at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
exactly.
mean, we're on the Facebooks and the Instagrams and the
Oh, your young people wear
all the faces.
All you whippersnappers. I think I added a few of you guys on Facebook. Christmas already accepted, which I thought was pretty cool. I went under the Freezepop Facebook page and like friends that also like Freezepop. It was like Christmas. I'm like, whoa. Look at that.
Oh, that's funny.
She's very cool. She's a very cool person.
Oh yeah, I can tell by the music videos and interviews and whatnot.
She is wonderful.
Mm-hmm. And I know under your website you guys do have a vinyl section, but it says it's currently unavailable. Did you guys ever sell vinyl at one point?
Yeah.
We had we've never put out like full albums, but we've done like EPs and stuff.
Okay.
So we put out like a Bike Thief 12-inch.
Oh yeah, I never even brought up Phantoms because that's your latest release, right?
Oh yeah, technically it is. That EP.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, right. I mean, Phantoms is a pretty good song.
Phantoms was really kind of the last song of that Imaginary Friends era.
Mm.
It was mainly recorded with that group of songs, but we never quite finished the lyrics. And when it came time to do a new Amplitude song, it was really one of the only ones that we sort of had in the can that hadn't been used for anything else.
Mm-hmm.
And also like kind of like work.
Yeah, it was
terms of, like-
kind of riffy sounding and sounded like it was in a game. So it was a really obvious choice.
Cool.
That's what it songs. But yeah, we've been playing that live a little bit. In the years, last year that we were playing shows, we played with it.
Cool. All right.
It's a fun song where we're all doing the keycard stuff again.
Yeah, that one is fun to do live.
Was Phantoms the song that made it into Amplitude?
Yeah,
Oh.
the Amplitude, the reboot one.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
also, what is your favorite harmonics game? I know that's a hard one, probably.
Arkham Asylum.
Super Mario Bros.
ColecoVision Smurf.
Yeah, right. The Virtual Boy.
The only one that I ever bought that I actually really enjoyed was the Beatles Rock Band one, which I really
Oh, I love that
It was,
game.
it was a very pretty game.
It's a pretty game. I never expected it to actually be made, and
Yeah.
I shouldn't complain because the Beatles are my favorite band, but it was released and I'm like, wow, there's
the
a
Beatles
Beatles
rock band.
video game and it's a rock band game.
Yeah, I got that when it came out. It came out on 999.
Oh really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
it was.
That was the day I first got an Xbox, actually.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah, I love that. I mean,
2600 and to Xbox.
yeah. There's just that one issue of it being like really easy.
Do you guys ever try playing your songs on Guitar Hero? See if you can nail them.
A little bit.
I can play Rock Band because I can sing, but anything.
Oh, of
I
course, the
can't
singing
chord
part.
music,
Yeah.
Just like flip.
I'm actually a fairly good keyboard player.
Yeah, I was about to say there's actually you could play keyboard in Rock
I
Band.
play Let's Talk My Rock on
Sweet.
Yeah.
like, let's just say I'm pretty good at that song.
I hope so.
I would
I
also
couldn't do it in the game.
hope
I
you could
couldn't do
sing your own
I
song
really
as well.
like watching people Guitar Hero.
Yeah.
Like, I was totally zoned out watching people play it, but...
Not as many people. It kind of had its prime maybe in like 2007 to
people are still
2000,
playing
maybe
it.
11, you know? And then it kind of just died down from there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And very last question before we wrap things up. What is Freezepop?
What is Freezepop?
What is Freezepop? Because, I don't know, I've had artists on here and I've talked to artists, and usually when I try to label them or talk about their music, I've had some people tell me like, oh, that's not us, you shouldn't put labels on us, and we don't sound anything like that. So I guess to wrap it up, how would you guys describe Freezepop as a whole?
You generally go with the term electro pop.
Okay.
I guess synth pop also does sort of apply.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty good, because I think electropop is like the first thing it says on Wikipedia.
Yeah, I think that's probably the right.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, the first one on is synth pop, and then it also calls you guys.
I mean, the best
Electronic.
The best bands transcend their labels, don't they?
Yeah, right.
Sure.
All right, cool.
Yeah, I think electropop pretty much covers it.
All right. That's everything I've got. Anything you got, Dan?
I'm
All
good.
right, sweet. This was a really fun interview, guys. Thanks so much for coming on the show. Anything you guys want to say to your fans in case, who's ever is listening to this right now, God knows.
Hello, fans. We'll have a new album for you soon.
Cool.
It's really good. It's like really, really good. You guys I'm serious.
Like 7 years good.
Well, I'm like 2.
There we go. All right. Thanks for coming on, guys.
Yeah, thanks for
Thank
having
you.
me.
I'll shoot you guys a text and an email later, and I'll send you guys a link to the audio. Until then, everybody else listening, we're gonna finish up Boys Noise, and then we're gonna play some Kodomo. Enjoy.
Ooh.
Take it
See ya.
easy, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.